Hi there, and welcome back to another simple Sienna session. And today we'll be going over a few things. So I'm sure you're wondering, wow, it's a new setup. So I just recently moved into a new apartment, which is down the hall from where I originally was. And now I'm in a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, single apartment. So I have the whole place to myself. Except for my boyfriend, he's here visiting for a little bit. Say hello.
Hello.
So he's here temporarily for a little bit, visiting, hanging out with me. But basically, we're going to go over a few things today. So first and foremost, in my last previous podcast, video, vlog, whatever the heck you want to call these things, I had mentioned I wanted to create a resource available for those entering the online learning environment, and particularly those who are entering nursing school during this pandemic, which most likely means you are working and learning remotely at home, and occasionally you might have in-person labs, clinicals, and things of that nature, but a very minimal interaction with other people. So today we'll be going over some tips and tricks that I want to include for all of you. In addition to this video, I've also included a blog, so for those of you who want to refer back to that as well, the video is a nice way to basically explain some of these things in a quicker fashion, and then the blog is there for, what does she say about this certain point? Oh, okay, yeah, that's right, kind of thing. So that's there. And I also, because I also believe in incorporating different learning styles, some people like to listen to things that other people talk about versus some people like to just quickly look at things. I provided both, so both are available resources for your use. So we'll go ahead and dive into the 15 plus one honorable mention tips and tricks that I will be mentioning. Again, I've only been in nursing school for 1 semester, and that's when the pandemic really started, so that's where I gained a lot of my experience and my tips. So hopefully it does help you all in your experience in nursing school. And not only that, again, take it with a grain of salt. If you feel that some of these things may or may not be helpful to you, that's totally fine. If you think these things can be helpful to other people, feel free to share, because again, this is a online resource that you all can use. And again, I encourage you all to do what you can with what we have right now, and again, learn and take advantage of everything you possibly can at this time. And also, I know a lot of people may not have the means to do a lot of things, because I will mention that some of the advice I provide are technology based, and I know that some people, whatever life circumstance you may be in, if you can't buy something, that's totally okay. None of the things I mentioned today are things you have to do. Just things that I suggest you can do. Maybe you can incorporate in your life, and hopefully it helps you in some way, shape, or form. So the first one is to get organized, plain and simple. So because nursing school and in general online school, there's a lot of information out there, it's important to be organized and make sure that you have a system that works for you. Some people, like myself, like calendars and planners and literally everything you can use to be organized. There are some people out there who can use their brains to remember everything, and give props to them, because I can't do that. My life depended on it. Some people like to utilize electronics, so they like to use their phone calendars, phone reminders. Whatever you need to organize yourself, do it, because there's just so much information and learning and things going on right now. It's important to make sure that you have a general system that works for you. The second is knowing what you need. So school supplies. So it's important to account for shipping time delays, because a lot of postal services are delayed in their shipping times. Sometimes they may arrive earlier, sometimes they may arrive later, so it's important to plan ahead on what you need, and that could include textbooks, lab materials, that can include your stethoscope, your blood pressure cuff, your lab supplies, whatever heck you need to be successful in nursing school or online school. Make sure you have your materials, and again, make sure you know exactly when you need it and what you need, because if last minute someone says, hey, you need this material, make sure you're able to plan ahead and see if you can get it earlier, or if you're able to maybe ask a friend who has extra, or look on Facebook Marketplace from reliable people. But know what you need for school, so that way you can be successful in your learning. The third is, if you're a procrastinator, be a smart procrastinator. So let's be honest, a lot of us procrastinate. It's it's hard to tell procrastinators not to procrastinate when it's pretty much built in their system. And I totally get it. You can't fault people for being procrastinators because, I mean, sometimes you can, but not all the time. But just be cognizant of procrastinating. If there's something you can do earlier, the sooner the better. Better to do it earlier than later, as I always say. But always just be smart about what you can do later versus what needs to be done now. Like, for example, financial aid. That's probably something you don't want to do last minute because you gotta pay for school somehow. So just be wary of what things you can push off last minute. I'm not saying you should, but keep in mind that there are certain things that need to be done sooner than later. The fourth is to practice self-efficiency. So basically, self-efficiency, self-efficacy, it means you are accountable for you. So you are responsible for what needs to be done. And again, it's important to address these things with your professors, your colleagues, if something pops up or if there's something you can't do. It's important to communicate that as best you can. Not saying you have to be a full-on 100% communicator, but do voice your needs to your professors and colleagues as best as you can. And that also means reading the syllabus. So for those of you who are in nursing school or about to enter nursing school, the syllabus is like your holy Bible for the class because it literally lays out everything you need from test dates, exam dates, assignment due dates, and also grade percentages. So make sure you look at the syllabus, and if you have questions, refer to the syllabus once more, and then if you still have questions, look at it again just to make sure you read it right. And if not, then again, ask, because oftentimes some professors, they're usually very busy, and they'll usually state that, hey, it's probably in the syllabus if you look. So again, read the syllabus, look through it, highlight any key points that really stand out, and incorporate that into your self-efficacy. And then again, I like to say, check yourself before you wreck yourself, because again, self-efficiency also entails that you need to be accountable for what you're doing. So check yourself first before you do something wrong. The fifth is that know your learning style. So many of us are heading into school maybe not knowing what learning style means, and that basically means if you're a visual, auditory, kinesthetic, or reading kind of learning or learner, sorry. So basically it just means what way works best for you when you're trying to learn material. So for example, a lot of the times when we're heading into lecture, they usually have a PowerPoint, there's usually the professor talking, and so what works for you when you're trying to retain and learn the information? So for example, I myself am a visual and kinesthetic learner. So I like to see what I'm doing, and I also like the plus side of being a nursing student is that kinesthetic is being able to do the motions to understand the material and know how to do the skill. So that's how I can benefit from learning the material, because that's how I learn. However, because of the way professors are relaying the information, sometimes you have to adjust. Typically, most professors usually incorporate all learning styles, but some do not, so it's important to adjust as needed. So I'm also trying to train myself to be a better auditory learner. It's a little harder for me because, again, I am a visual and kinesthetic learner, but it's important to, if you can, incorporate all types of learning style to learn the material. So that way you can approach things in a holistic manner, because that's all what nursing is about, right? Holistic learning. The sixth is that you want to get technical with technology. So there's 3 things I would highly recommend when you're looking and dealing with technology. The first is that if you can get a dual screen, which basically means if you have a laptop and you get another desktop screen, or if you have a desktop and another desktop screen, so 2 screens, basically it helps you multitask a little bit better. And it's also very great for Zoom meetings, because I can have my Zoom meeting on one screen and then lecture notes on another screen, so I'm able to just do things a little easier. It also works great when you have to look at the camera, but you're not looking at the camera and not paying attention to class. Not saying you shouldn't pay attention to class, but that resource is available for you. And then another thing is to have blue light filters. So I have blue light glasses right here. So they work really great on reducing eye strain from white light or blue light from our electronics. And because we are learning remotely, we're pretty much on our electronics a lot more than normal, and so sometimes it in the past, for me, it caused a lot of eye strain, some migraines, and so I purchased these on like Amazon. They're like 20 bucks. I've had them for over a year now. I really like these ones, and you can go ahead and choose any style that works for you. Or if you're someone that needs prescription glasses, maybe talk to your optometrist and see if they can offer some blue light filtered glasses with your prescription. So that's something I would highly recommend. And also adjusting your screens by reducing the blue and white light, and also just adding a red light filter, so that, again, less eye strain on you, less pain because you're on the computer more than normal. And then I hate sitting. I know I'm sitting right now, but I can't sit for long periods of time. So what I do is I make a standing desk. So if you're able to just stack books, or textbooks, boxes, whatever you can do to just elevate your laptop, very useful, very helpful. I appreciate having a creative standing desk because, again, unless you're able to afford one of those transformative standing to sitting desks, then go ahead and invest in one. I'm jealous, but unfortunately I cannot. So I gotta get a little creative, but standing desks, highly recommend, especially if you can't sit still or sit for long periods of time. The seventh tip is treating it like a normal work or school day. So again, I know a lot of us are working remotely from home and doing schoolwork at home, and again, that's just the circumstances we're given. So it's important to just treat it like a normal school day, work day. So get up, get ready, brush your teeth, brush your hair, wash your face, make your bed, make breakfast, whatever your normal routine was prior to COVID-19 and the pandemic. Continue to incorporate that in your work schedule because it helps you physically and mentally get into the work mentality that you need to. It helps me because in the morning I'll get up, I'll make breakfast, make coffee, make matcha, whatever I'm feeling that day, and then relax a little bit and then get straight to work. And I'm usually very productive for a good, so many hours. But it's very helpful because then once you're in a mental and physical routine, it does make it a lot easier to adjust and also make yourself look good and feel good. If you need a little bit of makeup or lashes to make you feel better or to give you a little confidence boost, by all means, do it. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Changing on the PJs is also very helpful if possible, but again, I know you're living at home, so why not chill in your PJs? But just do what you can to break yourself out of the I'm just at home doing whatever mentality, and it'll definitely boost your ability to perform and work better. The 8th tip is being able to separate your workspace and your comfort space. So thankfully, for me, I'm able to have a workspace outside of where I usually sleep and relax. So I put all my work focus in this one room, and then when I'm done, I shut it off, and then I just go back to my relaxing workspace and am able to relax. And I know for a lot of families and a lot of people out there, it's not physically or feasibly possible. So I totally understand. Do the best you can to just have a space dedicated for work, so that way you can physically focus and mentally focus on the work and schoolwork that you need to do versus trying to do your work in your comfort space. For example, don't do work in your bed because that's just not asking for good news. I'll tell you right now, if you can at least stay away from the bed and doing work, that's all you need to do. The 9th thing is it's totally normal to feel stressed and overwhelmed. So again, with remote learning and even just in nursing school, it is a lot of information in a very short amount of time. And sometimes it may feel like we have to teach ourselves information because, again, online learning, it's not the same as the in-person setting. So totally get it, totally normal. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to not be okay. However, if you can, reconstructing how you tackle the stress is also very beneficial. So the good stress, eustress, is the one stress that helps you stay motivated, stay on top of things, and overall it pushes you to keep going. The bad stress is the stress that's just very overwhelming. It's not good stress, and it's usually the kind of stress that can feel so overwhelming that you don't do anything. And that's usually a point where if that ever happens, it's important to really step back and take a break and let you recenter yourself, refocus, and then once you're, homeostasis is basically finding the balance in everything in life. So basically find your homeostasis, find your equal battleground, and then hopefully once you are much more balanced physically, mentally, emotionally, and everything, it's much easier to tackle your schoolwork and your overall nursing schoolwork as well. The 10th thing is to not let grades define you. So grades do not define your ability to be successful in life. I know as someone for myself who has always been very focused on school and grades and GPA, it is good to do well. You don't want to just go straight D's and C's because, especially in nursing school, it's not the best grades, but having a couple A's, B's, and C's, totally okay, because again, classes are hard, nursing school is hard, and then especially with the online learning, you don't beat yourself up for doing the best you can, especially with everything that's going on now. I personally think that if you're a good human being, you're kind, you have good character, good morals, and overall have the ability to learn and desire to learn, I truly believe that makes you a better student and overall nursing student and just person in general versus someone who always got A's and is a total a-hole. So don't be the a-hole. Just do what you can to be a good person, learn as best you can, and again, as long as you're showing the willingness to learn, then you're pretty much 3/4 of the battle. The 11th thing is to read before signing anything. I know this video is a little late, maybe for those of you who have already started nursing school or on the track to start soon. Make sure you're reading things before you sign it. So basically what you want to do is, if you're moving away, so I had to move away from California to Massachusetts. My mom and I, she helped me a lot. We spoke with our leasing office about any possible COVID-19 clauses. And so basically, when you have things in writing, it's a lot easier. Worst case scenario, if you have to make a lawsuit, things are in writing and you have proof. It's important you have that. And overall, you want to see what your schools, your administration, your hospitals, wherever you're going, wherever you're signing up for, has something COVID-19 related or just anything pandemic related, and see what their approach is to it and see how they're handling the situation. Because again, you don't want to do anything that jeopardizes your overall health, your finances, and overall well-being, because again, you're literally signing your life away. So you want to make sure you're doing it in a mature and a safe fashion. So it's important to make sure that you're looking at the clauses if they have anything. And again, feel free to voice your concerns about that if there's nothing stated, because again, this is your life, this is your money, so make sure you are getting that in writing. As I say in nursing school, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. So make sure you get it in writing, typing, letters, email, whatever, just something physical that you have, so that way, worst case scenario, if something did happen, you do have the physical proof. The 12th thing is be flexible. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, so it's important to be able to adjust as needed, be flexible. Again, there's a pandemic going on, it's an election year, there's a lot of social changes, there's just a lot of stuff going on. So it's important to be as flexible as possible, be understanding to those who are working in the school setting. They are doing the best they can. Students, and this goes to professors and to students, it's important to understand that everyone has things going on that they're not talking about or not voicing. So it's important to just be as understanding as possible, and also just be overall very flexible, because you never know what's going on. Things can happen. 2020 has shown that there's a lot of stuff going on, so be flexible. The 13th thing is to work smarter and harder. So we're all about trying to maximize what we can do for the best result. So I have a video that goes over everything in terms of being able to work smarter and harder, which I will also link down below. But basically, working smarter and harder is being able to maximize your ability to do something, working smart, being a little bit more tech savvy, and overall utilizing your resources to the best of your ability and being able to work smart and in a hard fashion way. So make sure you work smart and work hard. The 14th thing is time maximization. So basically, we each have about 24 hours in a day to do whatever we need to do. So that can be sleeping, that can be doing your work, that can be studying, that can be going to the gym, can be cooking, blah, blah, blah. Whatever your 24 hours of the day, 168 hours of the week you're utilizing, make sure you're using it to the best maximum output. And also planning ahead if possible. There's a quote that says, failing to plan is planning to fail. So if you can plan ahead and see what you can do with your 24 hours, it can be very beneficial. Does not mean you have to follow the 24-hour plan to a T, but it does give you a guidance and outline of how you can better maximize your time. Because again, time is precious. And one thing I can also suggest is, if you're someone who likes to go on social media very often, like me, go on your phone and see how many hours you're spending on your apps on average, and hopefully maybe it'll help you rethink how much time you're spending on it and see if they're productive hours. Because the 3 hours you're spending on Instagram, a good hour could have been given and used on studying. Or if you're doing it as taking a break, make sure you're utilizing the time to take breaks efficiently, things like that. So it's important to think about your time, because again, time is very precious nowadays. So make sure you're utilizing it to the best of your ability. The last and 15th tip is, the journey is also part of the destination. So I hear a lot of people who are always contemplating about their journey into the nursing field, into school, and overall their overall goals in life. And I totally get it. Not every waking moment is going to be very enjoyable, but if you're finding yourself in a very dark place all the time, you complain very often about your journey to get towards the destination, and maybe it's time to reconsider what you're doing. Because again, how you approach things and your perspective on everything is very, very important to where you want to be. And oftentimes, if you really think about it, you fought really hard to get where you wanted to be right now in life. So if you're feeling just very overwhelmed, very negative, just not good feelings about it, then maybe take a moment to step back and reconsider why you chose to go into the field in the first place. Because I feel like when others have this negative approach to what they're doing, it really saddens me, because I think there's so much good stuff that can come from our journeys in whatever field we're going into, especially in nursing. So I think, again, if you're not enjoying the journey, you're probably not going to enjoy the destination. So if you're ever feeling very negatively overwhelmed, maybe take a step back, reflect, and think about why you originally went on this journey in the first place. That's what I always say. Gratitude is the best attitude. Appreciate where you are, so that way you can appreciate where you will be. And as an honorable mention, self-care. We always talk about self-care, and self-care does not always mean taking a bubble bath, doing skincare, although I do love good skincare. It just means being able to step back from what's overwhelming and stressing you, and being able to just let yourself refocus, let yourself have that Zen mode, as I always like to say, and being able to, again, let yourself feel certain emotions. If you're feeling sad, a little angry, whatever, let your emotions out. And again, bring it back in and harness your ability to conquer your emotions, handle them, channel them, and then get back to what you're doing. Because again, self-care is very important. It's important to make sure you're good here, your heart, your brain, and overall your body. So as long as you are taking care of yourself and doing the best you can, that's all that matters. And we made it towards the end of those tips and tricks. Again, that is a lot of information, and again, I will include a blog to basically summarize everything I've talked about today. But if you're someone who needs that voice to really talk about what is written in the blogs, again, I do go a little bit more in depth here, but that resource is available to you. And again, I hope it is helpful to you on your journey in your online learning and even nursing school. So again, I wish nothing but the best of luck and success for you on your journey. And if there's anything that you want to add or even suggest, or if there's someone out there that you think that can benefit from this, please feel free to share. The point of me making this is to make resources for other people, so that way they can also be successful in their life and journey, because I know I would not be as successful in my journey without having mentors and people to give me advice, and I would totally appreciate this kind of information. It's just things I've learned on my own and kind of just put into practice. So I hope it finds you well. And again, feel free to let me know if there's anything else you would like for me to talk about, and I'll be happy to do so. So thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day. Mwah.